Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And on this review, today, I'm gonna be reviewing one of the most classic Disney films, especially from one of them from back in the days, from the 1940s, whatever. And it is truly, really like these with these type of ones. It falls in the same category from Cinderella. So Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, among all those other old ones. This one is another. This one's another just a truly classic film. And what more I can get more classic than about the one who wants to be a real boy, Pinocchio. Yes, the 1940 classic Pinocchio. And this here I have here is the 70th anniversary edition on a special 2-disc. I don't know anyone who can ever not like the classic masterpiece of Pinocchio. I don't think there's not one person who says they don't like Pinocchio. It was a film that was just remarkable at its time, and it was memorable, and it's just everything comes from wishing from upon a star. Love this film growing up. Well, all the old Disney films I loved growing up. So this one's is no different than all the other ones that I've loved watching. But no need to go into it. Everyone knows the story. Everyone knows the story about a puppet that wants to be a real boy. Jiminy Cricket, Geppetto, the Blue Fairy. But it opened, and as it was widespread critically acclaimed. 7.5 on IMDb is good, but I think it deserves a much more higher rating. But it has a rare 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Truly does deserve to earn 100% Rotten Tomatoes. There's other Disney films that have earned 100% Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of funny that Toy Story 1 and 2 both have 100% Rotten Tomatoes. But Toy Story 3 has a close 99%, so that's the only Disney that if it didn't get 99%, that would be the only franchise that have 3 straight 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Because Toy Story is a classic, and Toy Story 2 is a good sequel, and I like Toy Story 3. And I know they're trying to develop a fourth one, but when if that one day comes out, I think 19 or 18, I forget. I'm sure that's gonna get widespread acclaim as well, like all the other films the previous films have. But Pinocchio, what more can I say? But it opens up with Jiminy Cricket, singing a song "When You Wish Upon a Star," and he's telling the story about Pinocchio. How it begins, how he was just when his old outfit was all raggedy, homeless kind of and he settles in Geppetto's workshop. He's a wood carver, and he just finished his latest project, a puppet, and names him Pinocchio. And just before going to sleep, he sees the wishing star, and he wishes Pinocchio to be a real boy. Goes to sleep, and I thought it was always kind of a funny moment when Jiminy Cricket, when he tries to go to sleep, he can't hear because all the noise all around him, like the clocks and Geppetto's snoring, and then he says he yells out, "Quiet!" and everything falls silent. And then there's this bright light comes in through the window, and it's a blue fairy, and he gives Geppetto his wish. She gives Geppetto his wish. He makes Pinocchio come alive with the fling of the wand. Bing! And Pinocchio starts speaking, and gives him the blue fairy gives him a little first he tries to stand, and the blue fairy tells him that in order for him to become a real boy, he must prove himself to be brave, truthful, and unselfish, and then he will become a real boy. And Jiminy Cricket is now going to be his conscience, and even Blue Fairy gives him a little new clothes, and a new suit, basically. And a more where Geppetto thinks there's someone in the house, and he has a gun, and he's like, well, first he hears a noise when Pinocchio falls and makes noises, and Geppetto's like, "Who's there?" And Pinocchio's like, "It's me." "Oh, it's me." What? So he's just looking, and Pinocchio says, taps the cat Figaro. "Here I am." Goes to jump, and then Geppetto actually shoots and almost missing Jiminy Cricket. And Geppetto sees that he's alive, and this calls for a celebration, and they start playing all the musical for what they go, the musical things, I forget. And of course, we're in the part where Pinocchio is like, he has like his finger on fire from the light, the candle, and sticks in the fish bowl. I forget what that the fish's name. I know the cat's name was Figaro, but I forget what the fish's name. But and so the next day that Geppetto wants him to go to school, and while he's on his way to school, he meets the sly fox named Honest John, and his sidekick, the cat that was named Gideon, and there's one where he tries to tell he sees like a puppet that's alive, and he wants to make some money. He wants to sell to Stromboli. And they tell Pinocchio, they convince Pinocchio, what was that the song to go with them, and it's a song, "I did where was what's it, the songs, let's see, for instance, like, he sounds like "Hi did or yeah, "Hi did yeah." And some whatever, and one part where Jimmy Cricket sees this, and like says no, tries to get him to do the smart thing. And one part where it leads to it where Jimmy Cricket is on John's hat, right, and the cat the Gideon sees him on the head, and Cricker's like, "Oh, Jiminy, there you are," and he's like, honestly, like, "Jiminy, where?" And the cat gets like what was it, a cane or stick, whatever, and he hits him he gets stuck in his head, and used the other way, and just bonk, like a way of a croquet, just hits the head and just sends John flying. Oh. And Jimmy Cricket's telling Pinocchio once again to, you have to go to school. Don't go with these guys. But of course, Pinocchio doesn't listen and goes with them. Takes him to Stromboli, his the puppeteer, and that's where we get them. That's the song, I got no strings to hold me down. Of course, that song was used in Avengers: Age of Ultron. It was when the first teaser for Age of Ultron came out. You have that darker version of it. I have no strings to hold me down. That's the thing for, when Ultron was saying, and the teaser like, there are no strings on me. And of course, you heard that little part, and also another little scene after when the first fight with Ultron, and you see he's saying, "I have no strings, but now I am free." And then you hear that little Pinocchio's voice after the end. He's like, "There are no strings on me." So yeah, and I like that darker version of no strings in Age of Ultron. From the first teaser, and I liked how they used it in the little scene. How I lived up to that part, so I like that part. And then the song, of course, like I said, Marvel is now Disney, so they can use that stuff now. But I like that darker version of No Strings. And he sings that song, and he gets applaud, and Jiminy Cricket is mad about this for not listening, and when and Stromboli, says when Pinocchio was with the lady to tell his father, locks him in the cage, saying, "Oh, good night, my little gold mine," and he starts laughing, and he tries to whistle for Jiminy, but he doesn't come, and he gets upset, and Geppetto, thinks that he's been gone for a long time, so Geppetto starts looking for him. But then Jimmy Cricket is with them, saying, Pinocchio saying, "No, I should have listened to you." It's like, "No, it's my fault. I never should have walked out on you." And then the Blue Fairy comes in, saying that, "When did you go to school?" And then this, of course, the famous scene where he tells a lie and his nose starts growing. And the more he's lying, the longer his nose starts growing up to the point where it becomes like a long branch where there's a bird's nest. So, and he says, he says sorry, and asking him, to just to help him for this once, and she does for this one time. She helps him out of the cage, and as they get out, you get this guy, back with Honest John, he's talking to this guy, what was his name? I forgot. I forgot. I never knew who this guy was. I never knew the guy's name. He was some guy who was just talking with John and the cat. He's gonna give him a lot of money. He'll pay him a lot of money, and Pinocchio meets with the guys again, and of course, once again, does not listen to Jiminy once again. And I was thinking, you didn't listen the first time, and look what happened. You got captured, held against your will, and you asked the Blue Fairy to help you just the one time, like basically a get out of jail free card. And then you say you're gonna make up for what happened, but then you run into the guys again, and yet you still don't listen to them. So, and then he goes with the guy and a bunch of these other these boys to this island where it's called Pleasure Island, where it's a place where all these bad little boys can just do mischief, like do mischief, like where they're just go to this place where they're just breaking a lot of stuff, and then this place where they're just like which of the time it was kind of dark for around this time. You see them smoking, they're drinking beer, and you even hear the word when the boy that Pinocchio's with named Lamprey, Manfrey. They even back then they even got away saying the word jackass. Because by the time with them doing so much bad and all that stuff, right? And Jiminy at the point where when Jiminy is catches Pinocchio trying to play pool, right? But he's getting all woozy because he's been drinking and smoking a lot, and and he gets angry and he walks out on him. He's just gonna leave him because everything he's doing is not getting through to him. So, but when Jiminy sees the guy, he doesn't know another way. Sees him. The guys has all these boys have been transformed into donkeys because after all the stuff they've done, and which is another kind of dark thing because they're like gets them to be like they're being like transformed into donkeys and they like being sold, I guess to be, I guess slaves, I guess. And that's and Jiminy sees it with all this is happening, and he fears it's gonna happen the same thing to Pinocchio. And back with Pinocchio and the other guy, Lamprey, Pinocchio sees a guy growing ears and a tail, and he sees all this. Oh, he dishes that, and he dishes the cigar, and they like said they said the word jackass, which back then you didn't for the old Disney films they got away with all this like showing them like drinking alcohol and smoking cigars and saying the word jackass. Well, nowadays you can't. Nowadays, but they won't even say the word. They won't would do it with these Disney films. They don't. They won't even bring up saying the word jackass. But I'm saying, imagine all this is back with these old films. They got away back with all that stuff, which kind of makes them a little bit more unique in that way. But he sees him transform into the donkey, and then even Pinocchio starts growing ears and a tail. And so Jiminy finds him, sees him like that, and they have to escape. They jump off a cliff, and which also makes me kind of wonder. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people. Some of the people think the same way. Is that whatever happens, those boys you never see them again. I guess they're now donkeys. Now they just being sold to other people. I guess. Paid off and be slaves, whatever. You never saw what happened to those boys ever again, which that was kind of a dark thing because you see all these bad things happen to these boys, what's happened to them, and you never see them again, which kind of makes it kind of a dark thing, That's how the way I always thought because you never saw them again, and I guess that was our fate, Never see their parents again. Being taken to someplace else to work to be slaves as donkeys. So yeah, that was kind of like a little darker thought that you have to keep on thinking about. I'm sure a lot of people has thought the same way. But now he wants to go. Pinocchio wants to still go see his father. Go back to the house. He's gone. But the blue fairy leaves him a note to where he's at. He's at the bottom of the sea. He's trapped and he's inside the stomach of a whale named Monstro. So they're gonna go search. So they're gonna go under the sea while keep him from floating because he attaches a rock to himself with the tail to keep him down at the bottom to help him. So as they're walking against the ocean floor. And it's funny, like every time they try to speak to the whatever fish or whatever, they mention the name Monstro, they all run away in fear. Because Monstro is like the most dangerous thing in the whole sea. Monstro is this big, huge whale that is this very... Now even then growing up, even though I was a little kid, probably maybe 7, 6 or whatever, and growing up with it, that Monstro used to scare the basically scare the shit out of me. Basically, and you used to tell even that Monstro, that whale, is just so still scary looking. I'm not scared of it now though, but when I was a kid, even the look of Monstro, it just used to scare the shit out of me. Just how the way he looks, and I'm sure it's probably scared a lot of little kids with that look in Pinocchio. Just when you first see Monstro, he's sleeping on the ocean floor. And Geppetto, he's inside Monstro. His boat is wrecked, and among all the other boats that's been wrecked. And there's some fish. Monstro's eye opens up, and boom, he starts to like eat them with a huge mouth of his. And Geppetto sees the opportunity because all the fish is coming into the whale's mouth, and he starts fishing. And Pinocchio and Jiminy see Monstro come in, and he gets Pinocchio is inside Monstro, and as he's landing on top of the surface, and except Jiminy Cricket, he's on the outside, and he's like, "Hey, Watermouth, open up! I gotta get in there." So Geppetto and Pinocchio they try to devise a plan how to get out, which Geppetto has made a raft to escape though, but he can't. But Pinocchio, he gets an idea that he's gonna burn all the chairs and stuff like that to build to make a fire, and it's gonna make the smoke's gonna make him sneeze. And Geppetto's like, make him sneeze? Oh, that will make him mad. So yeah, and you hear the monster making that sound like he's like like he's building up, and it's about to get in the way on the raft, and they're ready like boo, how the way that the whale sounds when he sneezes, boo, and they get blown out, and that pisses off Monstro, and he starts chasing them. Even the sounds, even the growing up, the look of Monstro was very scary looking. Even the sounds, how Monstro, the way Monstro sounded, even that sounded kind of scary to me. It's like, it sounds like a monster, Even the sounds of Monstro scared me as a kid. So not only the design and look of Monstro, but even the sounds too. His growling sound. Yeah, so they're trying to escape on the raft, but the raft gets broken because Monstro is taking a nosedive at them, and Geppetto is unconscious, and Pinocchio is trying to save him by swimming towards this cave. Just try, he keeps him swimming towards the cave, and then Monsters is once again coming towards them, and of course he had a wide shot where he was, as he wanted to get him, Monsters walking out like this, and then crashes right into it, but they get pushed down the other side. And Jiminy Cricket sees Pinocchio dead, and they're back at home. They're mourning for him, and the blue fairy showed Pinocchio he did all those things that he said, brave, truthful, and every way he did, just saving his father was all that stuff, and now he made him to a real human boy. And it's like, Papa, I'm alive. No, he's like, Pinocchio's like, no, you're dead, Pinocchio. But look, I'm alive. See. I'm real. I'm a real boy. And and he's like, you are a real boy. And the Figaro was excited because it kisses the fish. And they say, more music, Professor. And even when Jiminy he steps outside and says and thanks the Blue Fairy, and gives him what he requested at the beginning, that he wanted a medal, from solid gold. Shows that he is an official conscience, and ends with a song of Jiminy saying, when you do wish upon a star, when you wish upon a star where dreams come true. And then the end, of course. So yeah, and even surprisingly, even surprised, like all of the Disney films, has come out, has come out. I'm surprised they never. Well, I guess they wanted to do a sequel, but I guess they canceled it. So, yeah, it says here. In the mid 2000s, because of course, the mid 2000s where they were doing sequels to the like ones like Mulan or The Little Mermaid or Fox and the Hound, and Tarzan 2, sequels to those, like, our Bambi 2, sequels to those, right? I guess that they want to do a sequel to this, though, and I guess, like, well, it was a reading her, but I don't know if it's true or not, but, it says, like, screenplay which saw Pinocchio on a strange journey for the sake of something dear to him. It's a story that leads Pinocchio to question the way life appears unfair sometimes. So I guess after that, I guess the screenplay, I guess it was not like wasn't up to par. I guess that's why they canceled it. So yeah, I would think it was. So it would say yeah. How would the sequel go? And if he's a real boy, what else is he gonna do? But yeah. And of course, I know they're going to do since all the success that Disney's having with the live action remakes. I know Beauty and the Beast, which I'm anxious to check out. I know that's going to be a huge hit. I know that. They say they are all going to do a live action version of this as well. But so yeah, like they're going to do some all the ones like I've said in the past. But all that great film. Memorable, I would say. Memorable, classic Disney film. Masterpiece, I would say. I don't think there's hardly ever one person who does not like the classic character of Pinocchio. A puppet wants to be a real boy, has to learn from right and wrong, tries to prove himself to be a real boy. Even despite doing some not good things, though, in the end he fulfilled that he was supposed to do by saving his father from a giant scary whale. He became a real boy overall, and Jiminy became an official conscience. So yeah, I love this film. Among all the old Disney films I enjoyed growing up, loved. It is without a doubt a masterpiece. It is well deserved 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Just memorable with the famous scene of him pretending to lie and growing his nose. Just the songs. Like I Got No Strings, which I liked when they did the reversion for Age of Ultron. But characters that are memorable: Geppetto, Jiminy Cricket, Monster. I will even say Monstro is memorable. The Honest John and the cat. Well, I'll put them in the memorable because just how that's how the way they are. Even it has like even the darker moments, like the boys turn to donkeys and you never see them again. You'll never know what happened to them, which kind of sucks. And the parts like with them drinking beer and smoking cigars and even saying the word jackass. Monstro, like I said, seeing as a little kid, used to scare the living hell out of me. Basically, just the way Monstro looks and just even his growling sound effects. I thought he used to scare me. But I would say that's why I say Monstro was very memorable. But yeah, the Blue Fairy too. I don't know what more to say. I'm sure that people, I'm sure a lot of people have said the same thing. Pinocchio is definitely is well above a classic. It's a masterpiece from the old Disney era. there will no. I would say there'll be no other classic. Now, as much as like the Disney films of today, though, none of those films like Zootopia or even Moana or uh, Big Hero 6 or those all those other ones, they won't even not come close to the ones from back in the day. Like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, this film, the Jungle Book. But and all those other old films. Dumbo, definitely Dumbo as well. But just all those old ones that are just very memorable and classic. But even the ones from the 80s and the 90s as well. The Disney films of today as well are not close to the ones from the 80s and the 90s, like Fox and the Hound, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, prime example, even The Lion King. I'll probably say all the way up to the late 90s. I would say, yeah. I'll probably say ended with Tarzan because that was 1999. Yeah, Hercules, Mulan, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Even yeah, all those old from the 80s all the way up to 1999. To me, at least. But yeah, love this film to death. Songs, score, for the voice acting as well. You got to give comments to the voice acting. All of them does a great, awesome job. And the film is on for 88 minutes. It goes by very fast, you won't even know you'll even watch it, by the end it's done already. So it's that easily, fast paced. But yeah, just one of the most memorable characters, one of the most memorable beloved characters, I should say, beloved in Disney history. And it always remain such a great memory for people like me that were, especially ones that were born in the 90s, like me, get that old feel to it. But I love this film. I have more I could say. Love Pinocchio, classic, 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Just every positive thing in the book I can say about Pinocchio. I'm sure a lot of people would say the same thing. But yeah, another Disney masterpiece. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.